All right, you're with your boy Matt Sierra, the new era of MMA Meltdown. Here with my boy David Treanor, 2-2. You last seen him on the Ring of Fire card when he put up a battle against Tito Solis, right? Ring of Fire 41?
Yep.
Man, that was a battle. I mean, your face just showed it. But I think what showed more than the beating on your face was just your heart, because there's not a lot of guys in this industry, in this sport, that can take that kind of beating. I mean, because it was apparent, right?
Yeah,
And still keep moving forward. I mean, you weren't backing off. I mean, I understand maybe you didn't stick to the game plan like you maybe have hoped, and you just kind of went out there and threw with him. But how motivating is a loss in that fashion compared to just a normal loss where maybe you get submitted?
Oh, I mean, it's completely motivating, man. That was kind of like the ass kicking I needed to put myself back on track, you know. The thing is, I kind of have taken my shape for granted, you know. My cardio and everything has always been like my number one strength as far as a competitor within wrestling or anything like that. I was never really a great wrestler. I was just able to drag kids into the third period, you know, drag them into the deep waters and beat them there, just because I had better cardio than everyone else. And I don't know, man. I just, like I said, I took that kind of for granted, and it cost me big time. And after that fight, you know, it was like I had to look back at it and go, man, that was a fight that I could have won, that I probably should have won, and I didn't for stupid reasons.
Yeah, I mean, it was clear during several opportunities. I mean, you had several opportunities in that fight to finish it, and Tito's a real tough guy too.
Oh, for sure, man. Kid's an animal.
But it's definitely something that people will know your name now because of that fight. So I mean, it was definitely a loss in the record, but I mean, you did win fans, and you did win respect because, again, your cardio and everything was just top notch. Now, kind of, you know, talking about your cardio, and you know, we were talking about it a little bit ago. You train up to the minute of the weigh-ins. I mean, that's really unconventional right there. I mean, what's that motivation? I mean, why do you not take that rest week like everybody else does?
It's kind of like I was talking about earlier. For me, man, like I don't like the calm before the storm. You know, I don't like to wait for the fight. You know, I like to just kind of get tossed to the wolves and get right into it. But if I have to wait, I'd rather be training. You know, that's what I've been used to as a wrestler for years. You know, like I was saying earlier, we used to have morning practice. You know, even though we'd have like an evening meet, and so having a week off, having a week where you know I'm just supposed to maybe watch guys train. I can't get on the mat. It's kind of like maddening for me, you know. I'm inside my head a lot, and I don't like to just sit around and think about the fight, you know, and think about what's going to happen. And yeah, I'd rather get on the mat and get my body moving. And the thing about the last fight though was my fight camp leading up into that was pretty much non-existent. I had a lot going on with my life, like a lot of crap went down that basically prohibited me from training, not only like in the way that I needed to train, but at all. And so, you know, I came over to 303, and these guys took me in with open arms. And for like a couple weeks, I tried to basically cram, you know, for the fight, which you can't really do on a physical level, you know. I think that there were definitely aspects of that fight that I was able to improve on before heading into it, just by being here and training. But at the same time, you know, like Ryan Walden, you know, has told me before, he's like, well, if you had rested up that week, you know, maybe you wouldn't have gassed out in the first round like you did, you know. I don't know, maybe that would be the case, you know. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, and what was so appealing to you in terms of coming here and training at 303 Training Center? Because both of your wins have come off submission. You know, 303 Training Center is coming off a real good, it's obviously a really good jiu-jitsu school. Bang is here, so Muay Thai is actually up to par. I mean, are you continuing to develop as an all-around fighter? Are you working on your stand-up, or did you come here specifically to continue to work on your ground game?
When I came here, I didn't really have a plan. Like, when I started training here, it was specifically to work on jiu-jitsu, you know. But as I've been here longer and longer, I mean, you know, I just started dabbing into everything that's here, you know, boxing, Muay Thai. And I can't say, you know, without a shadow of doubt, you know, I can say that I'm a better fighter than I was several months ago, you know, and every bit of my game has improved, you know, but especially the ground game. You know, we've got a couple of jiu-jitsu black belts over here that are legit, you know, and they finally put me into a gi, and so I'm learning aspects about, you know, the jiu-jitsu game that I've never had to deal with before. Specifically, I've been working off my back a lot lately, you know, so, you know, I definitely say I'm developing as a fighter. What's appealing to me about this gym, though, more than anything else, more than who's running the classes or what kind of skills that I'm going to be learning on, I like the atmosphere here, man. I hate egos, and the thing is, like, with this sport, you're going to run into egos all the time. When you're training with guys, everybody wants to peacock on you. They want to be able to beat you into the ground, even during practice, and I hate that. I can't stand it. I'm here to practice. I'm not here to, like, hurt people.
Yeah.
And likewise, I hope that they're not here to hurt me.
Absolutely.
And so when I walk through that door, like, I know that 99% of the guys that walk through there are leaving their egos at that door, and that's what's appealing to me about this place. Is it feels inviting, it feels comfortable, it feels like home.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's kind of get into a little bit more of the current situation. Seth Daniels, I mean, he always comes up with the craziest things.
Yeah.
And on October 21st, you're fighting on the Zombies card, and you're fighting against who is it? Alonzo Garcia, who's 1-1. He's coming off of a win against Matt Tucker. His one loss is by TKO, and considering the fact that your 2 wins are by submission, are you going to try to hand him his first submission loss? Or are you going into it thinking, well, the kid can be knocked out, so that's what I'm going to do?
Honestly, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I never really think that far into the fight. I'd like to be more of a reactive fighter. If the submission's there, I'll take it. If I can beat him into the ground with fists, then I'll do that. I never go into a fight thinking, like, this is definitely what I'm going to do. Because the thing is, what if your plan gets stuffed? Then what? What are you going to have after that? I'd like to keep the submissions going if I can, just on my own kind of personal quest. But if I toss a kick up at his head or something and that drops him, then obviously I'm not going to complain about that either.
Yeah. So it's safe to say, and again, I've seen your fights. A lot of the hardcore MMA Colorado fans have seen your fight. You're beginning to get this reputation as a hard-nosed brawler. I mean, you go out and you just bang. You're at another level. I mean, you kind of look at the way that you fight, and it's kind of questionable why you're not a pro at this point in time. Just at least in my eyes, just because, again, the level that you put into your workouts, the heart that you put into your fights, you're ready for that next level. So when are we going to see you in a professional fight?
I think, when I'm confident enough for it, and when that will be, I'm not really sure. I mean, will that be after this fight? I don't know. Do I need a couple more fights? I don't know. The thing is, I've heard that before, that I maybe should go pro. Like, I heard that before the last fight, and before that fight. The thing is, like, I'm 2-2. I have no disillusions about where my record stands. The thing is, I should be 4-0. I feel that way. I feel like I was in 4 fights that I should have won, and I lost 2 of them because of experience, a lack of experience, and one of them that I won, I almost lost again because of lack of experience. There's a lot of issues that I have going in there, dealing with cage fright, that really messes with your performance. To me, it's still odd having to go to weigh-ins and having press there, and having pictures taken and having this whole big theater put up a week before you have to even get in the cage, and that's always odd to me. But it's all stuff that I'm getting used to, and I think once I deal with all of the things that are mental, then all of the physical aspects that I have in the game are going to come up to par, and I'll be ready for a fight when I'm mentally ready for it,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for the pros, when I'm mentally ready for it.
And during this interview, you've said a few different times, you use words like confidence, and I've been in my head too much, and when I feel right, at this, and just kind of talking to you, what are you doing? I mean, because obviously you're in the gym working on your actual talent and your actual skill set. But what are you doing to get past that mental stage? Because it is a huge part of the game. But when you're in your head enough, I mean, you're almost, handicapping yourself with that kind of mentality.
Absolutely.
So are you taking any steps to gain that confidence? Are you talking to people who've been in the game for a while to kind of get tips from them? I mean, what is it you're going to do to get beyond that? Because if you're going to go pro and you want to have a successful career, you have to get past that.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, for a while there, I was working with my coach at the time, Brian Wood, with a lot of meditation, and so for the last fight to win card, I went in there mentally prepared, and I think it really showed, like, I kept my composure through that whole fight, and I would say a pretty dominating victory, but you know, since then, like I haven't been around Brian too much. He's been busy doing his own thing, getting back into the fight game himself, you know. And I've been kind of on my own trying to deal with that kind of stuff. I mean, aside from my own personal meditations, I've been reading a lot of like Sun Tzu, you know, Art of War, and that stuff has kind of helped me come to my own conclusions about how I need to approach this fighting game, you know. If you go in there too aggressive, you know, you're going to be more prone to make mistakes. You know, if you're not aggressive enough, you know, you're going to get overwhelmed. So you got to find that middle ground, you know. And I think I'm heading there, but you know, that's part of what this whole amateur thing is about for me is finding that happy medium. You know, is finding what kind of routine I need to do to get to that point before I step in the cage. You know, and when I figure that out, then I'll be ready for the pro.
What's your mind frame coming into this fight?
It's kind of like what I talked about before with Luke was I'm ready to win this fight. You know, like this is the first fight that I'm going in prepared to win it. And I know how odd that might sound. The other fights, it's not that I was going in to lose. Like that's definitely not how I felt about it or anything, but I'm going in there still thinking like, God, I hope I don't get killed, you know? Like, God, I hope I did at least what I could for this fight to get ready for it. Or did I do enough, you know? And this is the first time where I'm like, well, I did what I could for this fight. I'm as ready as I'm going to be physically, you know, I'm as ready as I'm going to get mentally, and quite honestly, I'm just ready to win. I'm ready to go out there and compete for the first time, really since I've gotten in the cage. Like, you know, I've been in the cage, 4 times now, and I haven't felt ready, not for one of those fights, you know. Yeah. Especially that last one, you know, which was very telling.
Yeah.
But you know, this is the first time where I felt like, okay, I'm ready to get in there and do this thing, you know. Does that say that I'm assured gonna win? Who knows? It's a fight, you know. Anything could happen. But I feel confident this time going in, you know. Not overconfident, just confident.
Right. All right, folks. Well, you've just heard David Treanor breaking it down for you, 2-2, fighting on the Zombies card to come October 21st. You've been tuned into the MMA Meltdown Show. You have a good one.